Hello everyone. So today I'm going to use a feature which was introduced in GitHub some time back, which is called as project section. And we are going to understand how to improve the presentation of your repositories by using this project tab. Now, one problem which I generally face when I'm building a full stack project in general is I usually have, let's just say, two repos, one for backend and one for frontend. So let's just say I created this project some time back, which had a front end written in React.js. The backend was written in Python Flask, and there was a Jupyter notebook since it was an ML based project. Now, the thing that happened was I had three repos for a single project, and there was no way to club these three projects together. Luckily, recently I just browsed through the projects tab in the GitHub section and I realized that this projects tab can be used to club the repositories together and showcase them in a slightly better manner. So you can improve the presentation or showcase it in a better way when you are, let's just say, going for an interview or for a job or for an internship. So the way in which this projects tab solved the problem for me was, let's just say I had three repositories which were for front end, back end, and the ML notebook. And let's just say you have a full stack project which might contain a backend and a front end repo. In this case, I can just create a new project in my projects tab. I can add some titles, some description, and I can link the repositories mainly. So I have the front end repo, the backend repo, and the Jupyter notebook linked to the same project. And one of the good things is that if you click on this project section, you have this column based UI. Now, generally, GitHub wants you to use this for task management, like you can use it for to-dos, doing, and I don't know, completed task. But there's an alternate way in which you can use this. And that alternate way is you can rename the columns and you can use them to showcase the features of the project in a better manner. In my case, what I did was I first added a column for the tech stack to explain what technologies were used while building the project. So in this case, the ML backend and front end technology are listed down here. Then I created the second column and renamed it to repositories. And I added the link to the front end repo, the backend server repo, and ML notebook as well, so that I have easy access when I click into the project. And in the third column, I added the link to an article. So when you are like looking for a new job or internship, typically what we do is we create a project and we write some article around it. So you can just link that article in this column as well, and then you can just showcase to your interviewer, okay, this is how I started the project, and this is where it is right now. Let's just say if you have just a front end specific project, even in that case you can use this to showcase the project as well. So you can go with the URL for the project, the screenshots for the project, and the tech stack. And if you have written some article, you can link it here. So this is the alternative way in which you can use the projects tab to like club the repos together and have a better way of presenting that in front of someone who is, I don't know, trying to see what the project is all about. And that is what we are going to cover today. That is how to create these projects like this and how to build the columns as well. So let's start off with that without any further delay. So for using the project tab, you need to sign in into your GitHub account. So I am currently signed in into my GitHub, and right now I have around, let's say, 74 repos. So the problem that happens is I don't know which of the repos are completed or which of the projects are completed and which of the projects are to be done. So usually what I did previously was I just added a label, which was a completed label, I think. And I used to filter out using that label. So I think we had a type or something like that, and I used to like use the labels tag to, yeah, this kind of a tag. So I just used to add a tag of completed projects and then I used to like have those projects listed down. The problem with this approach is like you have to remember the tags and stuff, but a better way to do it is just to go to the projects tab and create a project and just list down the repos there, so you have a general idea of what all projects you have finished in the past. Now in this case, the idea is to create a new project for you all. So let me just go back to the repository sections and list down a full stack project which I had created some time back. So this was basically a Twitter clone, and I created this for a hackathon project. I had started off with the design using Figma, and there is a Figma design listed down here. So typically when you create a project, it is good to first go with the design and then go to the actual designing and UI UX part. So this is how the core design of the clone look like. Then I had written some articles because it was a hackathon project and I had published them on Hashnode. First was on the backend part and the second part was on the front end part. So let's try to club these repositories and the articles together into a single project tab so that we are able to look into it in the future. So I'm just going to go into the projects tab here and make sure that you click on the second projects section here. The first project is a recently introduced feature which is in beta and it is used for other purposes like tracking issues and PRs and other stuff. So in this case, you can click on this projects tab on the right side. This is an important step. Don't try to create the project in the beta because it is still in development and it might lead to some issues. So get to the right hand section of the projects tab, click on the new project button here and select the Kanban style project board. The first one is still in beta. Let's not get into that right now. We will try to cover it in some other video, I guess. So I create on the new project and then we give it a name. So in this case, I can just go with a name like Twitter clone. Then let me just open the repositories in a alternate tab so that we have a track of what we are doing basically. So we have the Twitter clone frontend and a backend. So we can add a description for this, which is Twitter clone project created for hackathon, I guess. Then I'm just going to set the template to none. For time being, I'm going to set this to private till the time I make the changes. And once I'm happy with the changes, I will just make the project public. Then we need to link the repositories. So here, as you can see, we have two repos which have a name Twitter clone backend and frontend. So we come back to the project section and we can just type in Twitter and it will list down the repositories for us. And we can select the repos from the dropdown. So let me just connect the backend repo as well. Now, as you can see, we have the front end and the backend repo linked. Then we can click on the create project tab and we have the project created. Next, we need to start adding columns. So typically GitHub wants you to add to do, doing and completed columns and keep a track of tasks. But for completed project, that does not make sense. So for completed project, alternative way which I thought of was adding the resources and the steps that went into the creation of project. So in this case, the first tag, I can add something like the text tag used for the project. And I can create a column here. Then we can add the text tag which we used. So for front end, I use React.js with I think Tailwind. So let me just add Tailwind as well. Then for the backend part, I'd use Node.js, mainly Express framework. And the database was HarperDB. I think it was Harper. Let me just check. Yeah, it was HarperDB. And for the deployment, I had used Heroku. So I think that finishes the tech stack part and we can just click on add and it gets added. Now if this works like similar to the markdown mode. So let's just say if you want to add something in bold, you can just add double star and it will be bold in nature. So let me just quickly do that for the other two as well. Now you can even add images, you can even add icons. It depends on your creativity, how you want to use the columns. I am just showing you the way which I thought of. If there is a better way that you can think of, feel free to share the link with the update columns in the comment section as well. Then the second thing which I can think of is the resources related to the project. So I'm just going to add resources column and in this I'm first going to add the Figma design URL. Let's just say Figma design and I can just add the URL of the Figma that we have here so that let's just say if someone comes in and they want to build the Twitter clone on their own, they can just use this design and build it directly. So we can just copy this link here and add it to our Figma design URL. Then we can add the article links as well. So articles for the project and I think I will go with the backend article first because it was written before. So let's just go with backend and we can copy the URL for the backend and the front end as well. Now, if you feel that the URL are too long, then you can directly go with the hyperlinks, the way in which you can add it in the markdown section. So you can go with this kind of syntax and you can just write GitHub. Now, As you can see, we have the link to the GitHub. Sorry, it is not GitHub, it is Hashnode, but you have a shortened link and you have the long form URL link as well. It depends on you what you want to do. So let me just edit the note and add it properly. So this is Hashnode link, and we are going to add it in the backend section as well. So this is how you add the URLs in a typical markdown file, and we can use the same syntax here for adding the links as well. We can do the similar thing for Figma. I will do it later. Then I think yeah, we need to add the link to the repositories. So let's just create a column for repositories section and click on create column. And here we can link the repositories as well. For the front end part, we have the Twitter clone front end. So let's copy this and let's just go with the typical markdown syntax. So we are at the backend URL. Okay, I think I opened front end twice. My bad. Okay, let's just open the backend URL, copy the URL and add it into the repos part. And I think we are done. Let's just say if you want to add a project screenshot. So let me just check if I have a project screenshot for this. So we have a screenshots like this and you want to add it into your project section. So I'm just going to take the URL from the README file, which I had. I think it was in Cloudinary. And I can just copy this entire HTML tag that I had, go back to my projects tab, and in this resources section, I can just add something like project screenshots. And if I paste the thing, we might get a project screenshot as well. So this is how you can add the images for your project and other stuff. So I'm just going to drag it here. Oh, let's just add it to a new column, which is screenshots, because might, and there's a drag and drop feature available as well. So I think we are done with the creation part, and we can now make the project public. So for making the project public, you can just go to the projects tab again, click on the three tabs and go to the settings section, and you can change the visibility to public and hit save. Now, once you hit save, the project is now public. And if you open this in, let's just say, another tab in which you are not signed in. So if I hit refresh, my Twitter clone will be available now. And if I click on this Twitter clone, I will have all the text tag, resources, repositories, and screenshot listed down. Just a better way than your typical README files, and a slightly better way to present your projects in front of interviewers, I don't know, new people, or even your developer friends where you want to showcase your project. So this was the entire idea of using the projects tab, like alternative way to use the projects tab rather than using it for task management. Let me know in the comments if you find this useful or if this is a bad idea. I don't know. Like, I'm just trying it out and I'm just trying to see if this works for rest of you as well. So let me know your feedback in the comments, and if you want, you can try this out and see how it goes for you as well. And if you come up with a better way to organize the columns or a new way to add a new information in your columns, feel free to share that in the comments as well. That's it from my end for today. Goodbye and have a nice day.
It's only worth it if you work for it. I won't stop till they hear me now. I won't stop till I wear the crown.